Here we are talking about George Floyd, a 46-year-old black man that was killed in the streets. You've seen it by now, and if not, if you were like most people that I talked to didn't want to see it at first, I recommend that you go look at the video of a black man in America being killed while many people are looking and pleading for his murderers to stop, and not just stop, but to check to make sure he's okay. And so we're like a lot of you tonight where that doesn't sit well, particularly with just what we've experienced with being a biracial couple and what I've experienced growing up. And it's true that things aren't getting worse, they're being videotaped. And so it's just interesting because I hear a lot of people talking about Black Lives Matter, and they definitely do. And I'm one to agree that all lives matter. So let's not get it twisted. All lives do matter, but at this particular point in time, it sounds ridiculous when people talk about Black Lives Matter and then mention, no, all lives matter, which we've already said that they do matter, but that's kind of similar to the fire department coming to your neighborhood and putting out a fire at a house, and you're like, why are they at that house? All houses matter. Yes, all houses do matter, but this is the house that's currently on fire. Yeah. And so, with that said, I just want to say how thankful we are for this opportunity to just get this off our chest, because honestly, I personally woke up this morning, I read the headlines, saw the video, and it ruined probably the first 2 hours of my workday to where I couldn't even concentrate. Thankfully, I had one of the pastors at the church to sort of unpack my thoughts, and he was very helpful in that regard. But Rachel, how do you feel about all this? I mean, you're obviously not a black male or even a black person, but you face the reality of what's in the headlines, even in your own life growing up in Baltimore. So how do you feel about that?
Honestly, there's just so much to unpack. It's sickening, the things that you have to hear about on the news, the things that you see happen in your own neighborhoods, the things that you hear of your relatives tell you that they've experienced themselves. I just personally don't understand racism. I don't understand the hatred behind it. I don't understand why we're so afraid of being different. Like, it's a privilege to be different. It's a privilege and an honor to be who you are made to be. And for someone to put someone else down or to judge somebody else because of that is, I don't understand it. But
color of your skin, you know?
The color, yeah.
It's crazy.
Human, it's like saying different dog breeds, or they're not dogs or something. I don't know. It just
yeah.
I can't wrap my mind around that. I never had been able to. And even myself, like growing up in a white family, white privilege, there were things that my parents would say growing up, or things that I would hear growing up that I didn't realize at the time were like racist thoughts or ideas or whatever. But being older and experiencing more and talking more about it, you kind of realize, like,
that's what
knowledge,
we're getting at.
Yeah, knowledge is power, and it's not, you might not even be trying to be racist, but there's like just certain things that we may think, whether you're black or you're white,
that's a good
that
point.
makes you racist.
Yeah.
And I think knowledge is power in that regard. But going back to George Floyd, hearing these things on the news scares me. It scares me for my family. I'm not worried about myself. I'm a white woman. Like, I have nothing to worry about being pulled over on the side of the road because I was speeding or whatever. I don't know. But
that's a good point. That actually makes me think, like, it makes me think about, even just weeks prior, jogging around my neighborhood, what might happen. Thankfully people know me in my neighborhood, but what if they didn't? I easily could have been the person that got gunned down just for trying to go for a run. But it's just interesting when I think about growing up in a predominantly white community, just the things that I personally dealt with. And when I say that, you're probably thinking, okay, you grew up in a white community, that means that white people didn't like it. Yes, that is true, but also just growing up in that kind of community, I'm a people person, and so whether you were black, white, some other sort of nationality, if you were cool with me, I was cool with you. And so while I had the white basically coming against my family since the beginning, there were also points when I was ostracized by my own race as a result of hanging out with a multicultural group of people. And so I guess what we need to do is just that. We need to do something. The facts are the facts. It's horrible. I can't imagine what that family's feeling, and every time I think about it, I literally just end up with I can't imagine. But we should definitely be praying for them because they're going through something that
It's unimaginable.
Yeah, there's no other way to explain it. But from here, it's like, what do we do? And with all these challenges on the internet, I want to challenge you guys and ourselves to do something that's actually more than just a silly challenge trying to show off or won't mean anything from now. Let's challenge each other to stop ignoring the issue, to basically stop denying the divide. There is a clear division in this country, in your area, in your town. We need to stop denying it. Racial equality is a great thing to aim towards, but we can't pretend as though we have arrived because we haven't. So I'm challenging you all. First of all, pray for the family and the people involved. Secondly, the challenge is to stop denying the divide by having those hard conversations.
I think it starts with talking about it.
Yeah, talk about it. Everybody knows somebody of a different race or background. Start talking to them by asking questions like, hey, what's it like being you? Like, what do you think as a result of George Floyd? How was it for you growing up? Because realistically, you can't be scared. If you want to truly understand what's happening in the lives around you, you can't be scared because we don't actually experience reality. We rather experience our perspective of reality. So to get somebody else's perspective, that's only something that's going to propel us and push us forward as a human race. So
yeah.
That's all I have to say. Do you have anything else?
I just have to back that up with, don't be afraid of asking those questions because it doesn't make you racist to be ignorant about someone else's background or their beliefs or their ethnicity or whatever it may be that you have questions about. That does not make you racist. Racism is it's a lot of things. it's hate, but it's a lot of things. I feel like a lot of it boils down to being afraid of what's different.
That's good.
We're not used to. Yeah. We're uncomfortable with change. We're uncomfortable with different. We just don't know about it, so it's like, oh, I don't want to talk about that, or I might offend somebody. Yeah. It's not offensive to ask questions, depending on how you ask it.
Let's talk
but
about
it's not,
it.
Like Kyle said, call up your friend that's of a different background, or your coworker that you may not really have talked to before, but ask them out for. Well, maybe after this is all over with, but just hook up with somebody, talk to them, ask them questions about what was it like growing up. Like Kyle said, that does not make you.
Doesn't make you racist. It makes you aware. And don't be weird about it. Don't just go to somebody, hey, you're black, or hey, you're white. What is don't. Let's start with people that we actually know and trust, so we can get an honest perspective, so we can really realize their seat from where they are and where they're coming from. But guys, we really
be an act of love.
Yeah, and that's what it's all about. It's all about love. So guys, we appreciate your time. Thank you. Interested to hear your perspective and your thoughts on what we just shared. So if you wouldn't mind putting something in the comments or shoot us a direct message and we'll be sure to get back to you. God bless you all and have a great evening.
Thanks, guys.